welcome back. So this is part 4 to our trip down to Durhamtown this past April, and if you've been following along, you know there's a group of almost a dozen of us that decided to break free from New Brunswick weather and start the riding season a bit early. Now, like I said, this is part 4, so this is going to be the final part. Not that there couldn't be part 5 and 6 if we had stayed longer and I had more video, but this will probably run its course and will inspire enough people to start thinking about this year's trip. So here's something you haven't seen much in Georgia, some rocks, and this is about the extent of the rock piles. So there is no technical riding where we are here in Durhamtown. It's just single track, kind of fast, flowy, double track, mud, but here, a little bit of rock, and that was a welcome change. Alright, most of the gang got together for this ride, and we're just kind of all over the park. So this is a little bit of clips from the morning and some from the afternoon.
That was fast. That one that looked like a double with the deep ditch, I landed right in it.
Yep, I did land right in the middle of it and nearly bottomed out the suspension, but from my minor exposure to motocross tracks here, I was getting used to that feeling. Oh, hey Mark. That's Mark out in front of me. So today most of the group is out riding together. Throughout the week we kind of grouped up with folks that wanted to see different things. Some guys wanted to go to motocross, some guys wanted to start early, some wanted to start later. Some of us wanted to race on some single tracks, so it was all good. It was very organic and it was a great group of guys. There was no shortage of people to ride with and no shortage of technical skill when we had bike problems. There weren't too many hills for us to play on, but here's a small one that we did get to rip up, and there goes Mark. He's going to rip to the top of that one, but he's going to lose traction right about here and blow a little smoke in honor of Greta and then fall over.
Oh, she sheared the bolt.
It did shear the bolt, but we can fix that. But listen to Steve's bike coming up the hill. Did you hear that little bit of a bog? Well, turns out that the in-tank fuel filter on his bike, which is only a few hours old at this point, was plugged up. And as a result, his bike was having no start situations throughout the last day here, which was pretty frustrating. And I can appreciate his frustrations because I bought that same bike this summer, and somewhere just early in the fall I had the same issue where my fuel filter kind of gummed up and the bike wouldn't run. Unlike Steve, my powers of diagnosing a problem on the bike are fairly limited. I did reach out to him and tried a few things, but for him, he had dissected his bike complete while we were in Georgia and nailed it to being a fuel filter or a fuel pump issue, and it turned out to be both, probably because the fuel pump was starving and was burning itself out. But he was under warranty, so that was good. I was not, but you know what? The boys at Toys took care of me. Thanks, Ray. Well, alright, let's get back to riding. As we're riding though, you're going to see Steve. He's going to be a bit more conservative because he can't trust the throttle on his bike to not cut out at an inopportune time. That's okay though, we're not on the motocross track anymore, which is where he was first seeing it show up, and it was giving him some hesitation. We're going to rip on some of this double track for a while. much as I like single track and used to like technical a lot more, and I probably should get back to it, ripping along here on this double track, it ain't so bad. Well, we're getting pretty close to the end of the video, and although I hope to have this one out before Christmas, that just didn't happen because, well, Christmas just kind of overtakes everything else. That said, this wraps up our trip down to Georgia. However, on a good note, turns out Lucas is going to take the reins from Craig and plan this year's trip, so it looks like there's going to be a return to Georgetown. As I mentioned earlier in the video, Steve was having some problems with his new XC, and those problems were related to the fuel filter, which, well, here's how the trip ended for Steve. Thankfully this was on the last day, and that problem's been fixed on both his bike and my new XC, so we'll be good to go.